All right, everyone. So here's our wrestling news of the day for August 5th, 2024. Jacob Fatu was spotted in a walking boot. Triple H spoke out on a timetable for John Cena. He revealed two stars who were injured during SummerSlam, and WWE makes a big change internally on Roman Reigns. So here is those videos. Thank you all for watching. All right, everyone. So, according to PW Insider, Roman Reigns is now listed as a babyface on WWE's internal roster. So that confirms what we've kind of all thought, right? We all thought that Roman Reigns, when he did come back, was going to be taking on this newer version of the bloodline. Solo is calling himself the new tribal chief, calling himself the tribal chief. Roman Reigns is coming back and he's going to take him on. So, being a babyface was the best way to go. And honestly, as much as people wanted Cody to finish the story, and don't get me wrong, people in mass wanted Cody to finish the story, but you could just kind of feel, even after WrestleMania, that this transition for Roman to become a babyface was kind of already there, right? It didn't take much pushing by WWE to have that. All it took was him not being a part of the bloodline and not feuding with Cody for him to now become a babyface, right? For him to take on an enemy, Roman Reigns easily has transitioned now into being a babyface, and it's really it's not crazy to really think about at all. So we're excited for this. We think this is the right move by WWE. We think this is just going to be such an amazing time for the company. And a lot of people are kind of viewing this as like, oh my God, wrestling is great, so great. I'm loving where WWE is at. Understand that this is the bottom of it, right? We haven't even begun to see what WWE can create now. This is like we're not at the point where okay, the Attitude Era is over and now we're still good because the Attitude Era was so great, but we're still, it's just not as good as the peak Attitude Era. We're at that beginning part, right? We're at that 90s, late 97, early 98 part. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time. All right, everyone. So Triple H revealed that two wrestlers were injured during SummerSlam. So here is what he said. Unfortunately, Jacob Fatu got a little banged up in that last match. Logan Paul a little banged up as he should be, and Jacob's a little banged up. I'll see where that nets out here in a little bit. Hopefully nothing serious, but it was bugging Fatu a little bit, the leg, so we'll see where he is. So Logan Paul, no one really knows where he got hurt, but the speculation is that it was on that he did some crazy flip out of the ring. He was on the ropes, and you could just tell he was supposed to land differently, and he landed basically on his feet, but you could just see the knees almost buck. Like, that was bad, right? Everybody kind of saw that, but he finished the match, and he'll have plenty of time to rest, so hopefully Logan Paul, can get himself healthy. Jacob Fatu, you didn't know if it was an injury that he suffered legitimately or if this was part of the storyline, but it looks like that's a legitimate injury that he did suffer. Hopefully he is going to be fine. He was in a walking boot, but honestly, the walking boot thing, it looks a lot worse usually than it may be, right? So the walking boot, it could mean something bad. It could also be a precautionary thing, right? You can't tell. And I gotta say, the Jacob Fatu injury, we have to hope that's not a big deal because you have all of this momentum, right? You have all this momentum with Roman Reigns coming back, and it's going to be a bloodline versus bloodline, the older bloodline versus the newer bloodline, and Jacob Fatu is a huge part of that, right? He's kind of that badass of the crew, and if he's hobbled and he's hurt and he's not going to be out there, it's going to dent kind of how scary the bloodline really is because he's one of those just crazy badass guys that they got out there. So hopefully he is healthy. Hopefully it's not going to be something that keeps him out forever, or I mean, it's not going to keep him out forever, but forever in terms of, as it pertains to this rivalry. And hopefully he'll be able to get back in the ring, even if he can just look like he's still that guy, right? Until he's fully healed, that's going to be enough. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time. All right, everyone. So the image you're seeing above is Jacob Fatu walking in a walking boot. He was spotted, and then there's some footage, and we're going to show you that right this second, of him being helped to the back after his match at SummerSlam. Here's the footage. Oh, man. So listen, we talked about this. The injury here to Jacob Fatu has the ability to be pretty dangerous for WWE because WWE needs him to make this storyline click. The bloodline versus Roman Reigns needs to have the bloodline, this new version led by Solo, it needs to show him or show everybody that it is just as dangerous, if not more dangerous, than the prior version, right? Because Roman Reigns can't have this huge rivalry with someone people don't view as a tough, tough competition. It just can't happen. And so they need Jacob Fatu because he's one member. And I think collectively as a group, this bloodline can pose a real threat to Roman Reigns. I think without this full bloodline, people aren't going to buy that this is actually some kind of threat, especially because we just watched Roman Reigns basically kick their ass for however long, for the few seconds he was there. But everything points to Roman Reigns being the badass in this situation. So that it scares you a little bit if you're WWE because if you can't get, you can't really have a hero without a villain. You just kind of can't do that. You need to have that villain to create that the hero arc, and we started at a peak, right? Because his return was so good that now you have to continue to beat that. Otherwise, it's going to feel like, well, this thing kind of died off. This wasn't that great. So hopefully he gets healthy because he's a huge part of this new bloodline. And without him, this whole thing is going to feel a little bit weird because it's just not going to feel as strong, right? This new bloodline is not going to feel as strong. It's not going to feel as dangerous. And that goes for almost any of these bloodline members. If Solo got hurt, obviously that would be a huge problem for WWE to get over. If any of them got hurt, it would be a big problem. So we're hoping he's back because we're really looking forward to the storyline. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time. All right, everyone. So at the end of this video, we're going to give you Triple H's full comments on John Cena's retirement tour, but we want to talk about specifically a smaller portion of it. So we're going to actually read part of the transcript from WrestlingInc.com. So John has earned the right in his career to do whatever he wants when he wants. I believe it's in the beginning of 2025. John will come back, and it's sort of like a farewell tour that has an end to it. And John's going to come back and have a blast. He's going to come back and he's going to be there for the Royal Rumble. That's going to be his last Royal Rumble. He's going to be there for Elimination Chamber, and then that will be his last Elimination Chamber. He's going to be there for WrestleMania, and that will be his last WrestleMania. And then it will continue. And then by the end of 25, there will be the end of John Cena. Okay. So he's basically saying that John Cena is going to start, at least if I'm reading this correct, it's going to basically be a start of 2025 deal, right? So that's when he's really going to hit the ground running. Now, that doesn't mean that he doesn't, have a few appearances until then, because they might want to try to build a little bit of, just build a little bit of momentum going towards it. But it certainly looks like it's 2025 that his farewell tour will begin. And, I'll say that I haven't been this excited about something in quite some time because I think they're going to be able to take this and utilize it in such a big way to give us all of these dream matches that we would have want to see, right? It's really going to the retirement tour gives Cena an extra boost. Obviously Cena's this massive star, right? But Cena is not in terms of his in-ring wrestler, character. He's not the same he was 10 years ago in terms of like, holy crap, this is John Cena in the ring right now. It's not quite the same. Now, in terms of stardom, it's way bigger, right? He is just as big as he's ever been. But I think just, to get that little added juice of like, holy crap, this is just massive. I think you really love that the farewell tour is something because it's like this is his last match at Royal Rumble. This is his last WrestleMania. Like all this, like it's just gonna make it even bigger, right? And Cena is one of these stars, like Austin, like Undertaker, like Triple H, even though he's there all the time now. But he's one of those all-time stars that when he comes back, the fans love it, right? He is just one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, and there's really no question about it. This is going to be a perfect ending, I think, to what was a fantastic career with certainly the highest of highs. There were moments when people were getting kind of tired of it, but that happens to literally every wrestler ever. But for Cena, it's not just about necessarily how high he got, because he got to the peaks of any wrestler, but it was about the fact that he did it for a long time. I mean, people, like even Stone Cold. I mean, Stone Cold obviously was a wrestler in various other places before he really took off in WWE, and he was around for a while. But Steve Austin really was one of those guys who, and injuries were part of it, but Austin was as hot as anyone has ever been for like, what, like a 5 6 year period, maybe a little less than that. And he's just always still been big. But Cena was the guy wrestling every night almost for like 10 15 or more, right? So I really, really appreciate Cena, and I think a lot of people do. And I'm just happy to see that he's getting this farewell tour. So we're going to show you now the full comments from